Hi everyone, this is Pam with Bug Bites with another Gypsy episode. And in this episode, let's see how to add score marks. I have to give a warning here. Adding a score marks is a real pain. So always save your file and then make a copy of your original file and work on it. And each step you get a success. Save, save, save. Now, let's open a file that I have made called score test. And in this file, would I take the effort to add a score? No. Because we're looking at this project, we can easily see that you can distinguish where to score by seeing where the tab begins and the rectangle ends. So in this case, let me preview so that you get a clear view. In this case, I will not take the effort to add a score line. But suppose you have a project like this one. And in this case, yes, I would add a score mark because if I want to score along this line, I have no clue whatsoever unless I measure this. So in this case, I would take the trouble to add score mark. Let us see how to add the score marks. Any small shape like a line or a small rectangle would do. Suppose I want to add a rectangle. Let's see. Let's go to Gypsy Wanderings. I can just hit, because I know it's the next cartridge, I can hit the arrow key and get the Gypsy Wandering and use this rectangle. I want the score mark to be really, really small. And let me go and unlink that. Whether you can go minimum, let me type 0.05. Would it take? No. The height will not take less than 0.1. So if I zoom, this is the minimum height which the Gypsy recognizes. But the width can go lower. Let's see how low it goes. So it can go up till 0.07. So the width can, it depends. It can go a lot lower, but the height cannot. So use this to your advantage when selecting an image and adding score mark. I'll go to the mat and I'll choose Gypsy font. If you see this tiny L, and let's add that. This line is so tiny that you can add this as a score mark by changing the height to 0.1. Let's see. And if you can see that the width can go lower. So 0.1 here, with the height is 0.1, it's really tiny. So you can use this and rotate it and use, or if I press shift lock, I get a straight line, which would do fantastic for adding my score mark. So I can go with as low as 0.04. So let me zoom it completely and you can see that is the width and height of the score mark. Now, accordingly, if I tap outside to select it, I have to change the cursor to 0.12. Else most probably I'll get double or triple, and it's so difficult selecting that. So for this project, I will use that tiny figure as the score mark, since most of you will have Gypsy font and Wanderings. So you can see any font cartridge, or some people even suggested Paper Doll, the stick in Paper Doll. One thing is how to get it selected and move it across, because getting a hold of that is very difficult. So when you're able to get that, see, it's so difficult selecting it in a small screen. So I have to add it, I'll go as close in the point where I want to add it. I'll not keep it in the top of the mat. I'll just keep my cursor, the tiny 0.1 cursor there. Then select the image. Can you see the width? It's just 0.01. Then I will zoom to the maximum. Pan with my lower left key button, and this is selected, already selected, so I will try to move this here inside the image, and I will try not to put it inside this area, this where they overlap, because if I weld it, then it will vanish. I will see that it does not fall in that zone. I'll keep it exactly where I want to, because once I let go of it and I do any other action, then I cannot come back and select. It's very tough. I can select it, but it's very tough. Then I have to move this figure out of the way and then select it back. So I will hold on to that where I want it. I can now zoom out and see where it is. It'll still be selected. So once I'm happy with that in the placement, then I can group and go to advanced, and you do not need to weld, but let's see what welding does. And then view, you'll see that that has shown up. So if the same thing, if this button was somewhere in this zone, it will not show up. Have it just on the outside where the welding occurs. And that's all there is to adding a score. So once more, I recommend that you work not with the original file, but with a copy of that file. And also, please do save. Now at this stage, before I want to add another mark, I would go press the silver button and press save, and then go and add the next mark. So any of the font cartridges, or you can find the shape, and you would go and see, unlink the height and width, and the height of the cursor cannot go below 0.1. So set it at 0.1 and see how far the width can go. You can rotate it and get it into the shape you want, which is small enough for your score, and add it. Thank you for watching.